everybody. We're coming out of the Ghastly Hallows. I'm Pumpkin Jack, and I'm joined today by our trusty one and only
Bolt from the heavens above. How are you guys doing this evening?
We are coming into you guys with our post-Halloween stream. Get that slowed down. We catch up today on how our Halloween went and any other, as we wax poetic about what Halloween used to be like, and catch up on any new things going on. So, Bolt, you claimed before we started that you have some Halloween specials that are near and dear to you.
Oh yeah, near and dear. Let's start with the good old child-friendly Goosebumps series. Remember those back in the day? I remember reading some of the books when I was younger. I can't tell you if I remember any of the stories now, but those were the good old days around Halloween. That was my jam.
So, I used to like reading Goosebumps when I was a kid. I remember reading the two Haunted Mask stories. Those I read, right? And then at some point, my dad got us cable. And then once my dad got us cable, that was the end of me and Goosebumps. I just did a 360 on Goosebumps and I stopped liking Goosebumps because I upgraded to something a little better on cable.
A little better.
Well, yeah, it was way better in my opinion. It was way scarier. What? It was way scarier. And what's kind of funny is that I'm gonna piss off a few millennials when I say this, but well, that's what I do around here. Uh, to me, the better one was always "Are You Afraid of the Dark" on Nickelodeon.
Ah, yes, that one. That one actually.
That one was actually scary. That one, that one was not
That's
playing around.
terrifying. I'm surprised they allow that level of horror for kids on a children's network. I'm glad they did it because you actually were taught at a really early age what fear can look like.
Hell yeah! But what was cool about it was you got to get real horror stories, right? And on
Mm-hmm.
top of that, you could kind of tell that these were just maybe one or two. These were one or two censorships away from one or two small things how can I describe this? This is just so crazy how it was. Goosebumps. Are You Afraid of the Dark? Was one or two frames away all the time from being either rated R or a hard PG-13.
Which ones stand out to you right now as the best example of those?
Uh,
My memories are hazy on that series.
the one that I can think of right now off the top of my head, which if anybody watched that show, they'll remember this one instantly. It was this pool monster. There's a pool ghost, right? That comes out of this it's haunting a pool, and some kids apparently are either drowned or nearly drowned in the pool. And the way that they uncover the pool monster, right, is that they throw this red dye in the pool, and then when he comes out of the pool, he's all red. It's like this creepy ass red skeleton just rising from the pool, and everybody is freaking out when they see it because this thing is evil looking as all hell. So that thing, in my book, let's be real with ourselves, that's just blood. But they're using the blood as a backdrop for kids and shit to not have to call it what it is, but I'm gonna call it what it is. That was just blood that they were using in the backdrop. That's red dye. But if you ever actually, you know what, let me see if I can try this. For anybody watching along on the stream, are you afraid of the dark? Huh? Red pool monster. Yeah, the Tale of Dead Man's Float. This is where we need Red. Because the minute Red sees it, Red hears these things, like Red tends to just be that good. Well, tell me, like, he's awesome. Red, the moment you go like, yes, and he'll be like, yes, and this is exactly what it is. But
Yeah, absolutely.
if
Unfortunately, he can't join us tonight.
he
Has
can't join
work.
us tonight, but if you go look on the stream right now, if you're watching, this is the monster. I just have it up on the screen real quick. Can you see it?
Yep. You see it on screen.
Yeah, that's the one. So that one to me was just like right there, right below the line, just as safe as you could be. Oops, back to that. That's one. The other one that I feel was within, again, like it's PG-13 realm, is one of the pilot episodes. I'm not sure if this is the pilot episode or not, but also what was cool about Are You Afraid of the Dark was all of the protagonists looked different. So Goosebumps, this isn't me being generalizing or anything like that. I don't ever want to be like that. But I remember in the Goosebumps, it was usually like a bunch of kids from the suburbs. They were usually Caucasian white kids, right, from the suburbs. A lot of the Goosebumps stories, when you look back, there's
Yeah.
like maybe a small handful of them that weren't. The One of the pilot episodes, one of the first episodes of Goosebumps, is a black family moves into this town, and the two kids are pretty much like they're coming from like a bad situation back home, but in the new neighborhood, they want to make friends, but they also don't want to be considered, wimps or punks. So what they go do is they see that there's some other kids in the neighborhood and they try to go befriend those kids, right? And the one kid pops up and sees them in the middle of the day and invites him to go play hide and seek at night. He's like, "Oh, why didn't you come, chicken? You chicken?" And he's like, "We're not chicken. Watch, we'll be there." Right? And they go and play hide and go seek with all these kids in the middle of the night. And then, as it would turn out, nobody else can really take a look at those kids because the grand twist, everybody, a 30-year-old show, if you haven't seen it by now, the grand twist is they're playing hide and seek with these kids over and over again, right? And they're like, "Oh, we're afraid of the gravekeeper, don't let him see us." And then it turned out that all those kids who were playing hide and go seek with were all dead. They were all ghosts that wanted them to play with them. Like they're like, "Oh, this is my hiding spot. You can't be it because that's where he was buried."
Oh,
That's some shit.
yeah, that's just that is somber as anything.
Snick. That's when you used to pass it on if you knew your '90s Nickelodeon. It was a Snick at night, Snick Saturdays.
Snick.
There it was, yeah, Snick, the Snick block. That's like how do I put it? Before Disney had their block, right? I feel like Nickelodeon had theirs, and Nickelodeon was actually in my book. They were the ones knocking it out of the park on Halloween. Like I remember more of the Nickelodeon specials for Halloween
Oh, most definitely.
because they had the better ones in my book. Like I'll bring up another one, but what do you remember from Halloween? What specials do you remember?
As far as Nickelodeon, there was like that huge "Are You Afraid of the Dark" on TV special where it was like what an hour long, and it had like cast from like I think it was all that appeared in it, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the plot of it though. But
Wait,
you know the special I'm talking about, right?
the kids from all that.
Yes, I believe those are the ones that made an appearance. I could be wrong. I'm probably thinking of another Nickelodeon TV show cast that made an appearance in that TV special.
Was it two heads are better than none
Let's see.
with Keenan and Kel?
Possibly, yeah.
And the way they get away with it is they just don't show you blood when they're cutting off the heads. Didn't that some shit? That's how they got away with it. They just didn't show you blood when the heads were being cut off. That was it.
Hey,
That's
it's a simple thing, but effective.
it was. It was very simple, but it was also like that's all they needed to do. They didn't need to do shit. All they did was just cut the heads off, and that was that. Like, it was interesting. Uh,
It's weird because, like, I'm not sure about you, but for me, it's like it kind of kept it in the realm of like fantasy, but it's like you still got a little like you kind of felt like the fear of it, but it's like okay, like in the back of your mind, it's fake, but you're still scared. That make any sense? Because it's like the way it was done, it was like okay, this is only happened on TV, but it was still it was still kind of scary for kids.
well, it was scary for kids, and the other side of it too was that, and this is like me now being 100% pro Nickelodeon, anti Disney. Nickelodeon was really good at towing the line when it came to kids media, but Nickelodeon knew how to play with kids media and be mean about it at the same time. Right? Like if you go look at a lot of Nickelodeon content back in the day, it's very rude and crude, right? Whereas you go look at a lot of Disney content, the 90s, it's not rude and crude, it's very like adventure driven.
Yeah, which it plays better on TV for ratings, and you don't have to worry about like censorship because I'm trying to think. There were some times when like a lot of like the horror stuff that they put on, it maybe like there was once or twice where something wasn't kosher. You kind of knew that like it got hit with the editing room type of treatment, and things didn't like flow as they should have if you were to see like a the original version of it.
So I have a theory about that, which I think I was talking about it with John uh, and one of our other friends. So I feel that a lot of the stuff that's made for kids is made however they intend it to be, and then it's re-edited and re-censored again and again, censored and re-censored again and again and again and again before a kid gets to see it.
Oh, it makes sense.
Like I haven't like I'll give a really good example of that, right? Uh, Goosebumps. There's one Halloween episode that I remember from Goosebumps. One episode. That's all I remember for Goosebumps.
Which one is
And
it?
so the Halloween episode that I remember for Goosebumps was about these like kids go missing on the block before Halloween. Like the families are looking for these kids. The families can't find these kids at all. They're looking for them everywhere. And the one kid in the neighborhood and in the town, like he's just scared because he doesn't really want to go missing and Halloween is coming up, right? So I think the plot was he buddies up with a few other kids in the neighborhood and they all go trick-or-treating together, right? Simple plot, works, really easy. So middle of the night, all of a sudden all the kids that are like the kids that are in this gang that they built up, there's two kids in the group that they just don't know who the hell they are. Like, who are these kids? Right? And it turns out, obviously, right? Bum, ba-da-dum, obvious twist. The two kids that are with them never tell anybody who they are, never say shit, never talk about it. All they really come back and do is they're quiet, and then they run as soon as they're confronted, right, with the whole
Mhm.
thing. So after they're confronted, you find out that these kids weren't kids. Spoiler. They were actually just aliens. And they were planning on eating the kids. And they had eaten the missing kids prior. And the only reason they didn't kill the kids that they were rolling with was because they were already full, but they would return next year on Halloween to eat the rest of the kids.
So what? Halloween's their designated dinner time, so they're good for a whole year.
Pretty much.
Huh. Alien digestive systems must be very convenient. They're good for a year.
Yeah, they filled up on kids all year round, then boom, they were done.
You gotta watch the sodium though.
They do. But, we don't know what an alien's body's like, but that was like the one plot when I was a kid that I remembered for this one. It was that. It was you had these kids trick or treating. Twist was, they weren't really kids all along. They weren't kids all along. They were aliens that were planning on eating the kids.
Like the alien monster angle.
I mean, it was a
'Cause
good
usually,
angle.
yeah, because usually you never hear about like aliens like eating like humans when they're like visiting. It's either they're taking over the planet, capturing people to probe them, or what other cliche alien tropes.
Well, speaking of alien tropes, there is a very famous story too that came up actually earlier this year regarding aliens. Earlier this week, I don't know if you ever heard of this movie, Fire in the Sky.
I have not. And Morally Gray says that aliens have terrible taste.
Okay, alien driving instructor schools, and that's gross. Look, kids are dirty, but at least most kids don't have nasty ass STDs. Okay?
You sure about that?
Most, I said most.
I
Most
mean,
of them don't.
nowadays you can't tell. Nowadays it's up in the air. Like
I said most likely they don't. All right? You're more likely to run into a gross STD with a weird adult these days than you are with a kid. I don't blame them for eating children, but I wouldn't eat them on Halloween night. You know how much fucking candy a kid has in his system on Halloween night?
the aliens have to find out.
Alien driving instructor schools. Hold on a minute. I know that term. Do you get that one, Bolt?
I don't. I do not get that reference. Also, were you running like water in the background?
No, it's my goddamn boiler in this annoying ass building.
Yeah.
Alien. I know what they're talking about. It's just my head is like Coneheads. When was the last time I saw Coneheads? Bolt. Those are the types of movies they make you watch.
I never heard of Coneheads.
Oh hell no! You never not heard of Coneheads.
1990. I have no. Let's look this up. I have never seen or heard of this.
God.
Oh, that's why. It's like Adam Sandler's film. So for funny.
No, that's Airheads.
I'm looking at it right now. Coneheads, 1993 sci-fi comedy film. It has Adam Sandler.
Okay, but that's not a Happy Madison movie. He was just in it. It was an SNL movie.
I still didn't see it.
Oh
so there's a funny gag for those who are watching. Up until like this year, probably like early winter, I have never seen Adam Sandler's film, and that wasn't done on purpose. luckily, friends of mine sat me down and like had me watch it one random evening. But like, I can't remember the name of the film that they had me seen. But I did watch a movie with him in it finally after 20 odd years.
So, yeah, we just really need to know that Bolt is in fact a cone head. Like this is as close as you'll get to meeting one of the cone heads. Okay, uh, Bolt finds it very interesting whenever we talk about a film that most of us had to watch in school. Both, both, lady. It's both. It's both. He's both very young and been
Hey! I
living
don't live
under a
under a
rock.
rock.
He's like,
Upgrade to living under a plank of wood. Okay, it's much better on my back.
see that's kind of the thing someone that lives like Patrick Starr would say, just just
Okay,
like that.
okay, all right. We all know he would never speak out again living under a rock.
You- uh, Back to where we were at, Patrick
Oh,
Starr.
what feelings about this movie now? Come on, this is just.
Well, now you got homework. One of the fans told you
I
to
am
go watch
no, no, no,
Coneheads.
no. I am gonna work my way through Stranger Things. And yes, before anyone flings me in the chat, and before good old Pumpkin Jack flings me, that has been on my list for a while. I just had things to do, but I will get to it.
So,
I'm not that young to not know what Patrick Star is.
are you sure about that, though?
I'm not going
Sure
to
about
dox.
that? You
I'm
sure about that?
I'm not going to dox my age. Just take my word for it. Oh, thank you. You made me feel better now, lady. You're not missing out on much except for like really funny memes that will never go away.
Wait, never watched what? Stranger Things or SpongeBob SquarePants, lady? We just need to clarify that one up.
Oh yeah, I just assumed she meant.
I'm assuming SpongeBob, but SpongeBob came out at a point where I was still a little kid when it came out, old enough to enjoy it, and then all the babies that were born had a SpongeBob phase.
Really? I thought they were too consumed with Cartoon Network at that point.
Oh, Stranger Things. Yeah, you're not off the hook for SpongeBob.
But uh, but no, I am off the hook because I actually seen SpongeBob. She hasn't seen Strange Things like I have, so I'm off
Well, you're off the hook. Fine.
the hook on that. Thank you, lady.
Honestly, have you taken an axe to it yet or no?
Wait, to SpongeBob?
Stranger Things. Have you like actually started whittling it down, or have you?
I have just caught up on Attack on Titan. If that answers your question. And the fandom is weird as hell.
Oh, for Stranger Things.
I think SpongeBob now.
Like honestly, Stranger Things, the fandom. I like the Stranger Things fans to an extent, but I'm actually gonna make a very odd observation with Stranger Things. Right, I had an encounter with some fans at Universal earlier this year because one of the houses is from Stranger Things, right? And the Stranger Things people really multiply this by infinity, really fixate on certain characters up to a very extreme, to a really extreme, like extremely uncomfortable level. So one of the breakout characters of Stranger Things this season was a dude called Eddie Munson. Right? When you get there, you'll get there with Eddie Munson.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves Eddie Munson. His vinyl pop was selling for like $1,000 because they sold out. They were limited edition. Nobody thought he was gonna blow up the way he did.
That's insane.
Eddie Munson. And then the people who really like All right, people who really liked Eddie Munson have been out there doing like all these really weird fucking costumes, and I heard that he got like a lot of weird interactions with people, and they have actually over focused on a character that was only in for one episode, just because like she interacts with Eddie Munson a bit in that one episode. She's in it, and then like everybody's obsessed with this other character called Chrissy, even though like you didn't really get to know Chrissy, but it's because everybody says yeah she's related to Eddie Munson. She's with Eddie Munson in that one sequence, so people are just now like obsessed with her. It's insane. But that's the thing about them. They also focused for a little while there on 11, and it got kind of creepy how heavy they focused on 11.
Wait, by focus, do you mean
You know
sexualized?
what I mean? Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Just clarifying. Ugh.
Like Millie Bobby Brown she was in that camp of people that they were like waiting for them to turn, when she's
Uh,
18, it's gonna be so cool. It's like, dude, you're fucking creepy.
I need a shower now.
Yeah, but other than that, though, like the show in itself is really good. I think you might have heard that I was talking about that with John. Like, without certain writers, you don't get Stranger Things. But
Mm.
back to the point on Halloween. Uh, there's a lot of ties to Halloween on Stranger Things. A lot of the important stuff happens around Halloween time. So whenever you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about, and just keep that in mind once you start on Stranger Things.
Okay. I figured it was. I know, like the first season or two was like very D&D focused, and then it
The-
diverts from there, and then maybe and so not really maybe. If someone comes back to it in the recent season. But I digress. I'll get there when I get there.
Yeah, Drake couldn't wait. He was texting that girl back and forth.
Oh my god! Wait, which Drake are we talking about?
You know,
Bell.
Hotline Bling, Drake.
Uh,
Hotline Bling couldn't get what had that girl in his DMs and shit.
I
You know about that?
did not. I did not. And I'm convinced, like the older you get, if you're single, the weirder your interactions tend to be with people, and it's not for the better. Yeah, and that's another horror topic in and of itself. But
Well, that's not horror. That is
you sure?
horrific.
Okay. Oh yes. Thank you.
There's a
Horrific.
difference. There's a difference. There's horror, and then there's horrific, like some of these people do.
You're definitely right. It's like, but funny enough, it's like I figured that would have happened with Arya from Game of Thrones. I'm glad it did it. You got the opposite effect. People were like, no, they were not for that. I was like, okay, I'm not sure I should praise you for doing the bare minimum or what, but I'm gonna just throw season 8 in the trash with everything else that's associated with it and just call it a day.
You know what's funny? We're on Game of Thrones. Two things that make me laugh about Game of Thrones: when she had her scene in the final season, right? She took her top off and everything. Everybody was sending that meme of Uncle Phil, young lady, you put your clothes back on. That was one. Two. It was because of Game of Thrones that I remembered how few people watch zombie movies.
Really?
Yeah, because I went to see that episode. You probably know the episode I'm going to talk about right now. The war, the fight. Damn it. The war for God damn it. The Long Night.
Yeah,
The
which
Long Night.
kind of short if we're.
The Long Night, when they're fighting in the Long Night War, right? There's a moment there where the Night King raises his hands and everybody gets turned into a zombie, and then the actress that was the ire of one of our friends on another stream another day for another day
Another day.
uh, everybody, she wakes up as one of the whites, and everybody starts going, no. I'm like, dude. I'm sitting at the bar. Doesn't anybody here watch zombie movies? The moment she kicked the bucket, we knew this was going to happen. And I got told to shut up. I got told to
I
be
think the
quiet.
power of the eighth season made people forget about, expected things or common like monster tropes or not even monster fantasy tropes. Like when people, if you have zombies in your world and you die,
You're going to
best
get
believe
back up.
unless they take off the head, destroy you utterly and completely. There's a process to this.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, but like it was just so crazy. I'm like, everybody's really like, they don't really. I was like, really?
Yeah.
You guys don't know that's like, you're all shocked that this happened? Like, that's how it goes. You get killed in a zombie movie, you come back as a zombie. Like, there's a there's a formula to this, people.
Oh man,
George Romero set up the formula for everybody, people. Like, how are you gonna sit there and be like, I didn't know that was the thing? Come on.
I guess those are the same people that kind of like tuned into the whole entirety of The Walking Dead.
Or they skipped the
Or
entirety of The Walking Dead.
actually, yeah, more so if you skip, because like if you pay attention in the first few seasons, like that should be ingrained into you. Granted, the impact of those zombies kind of lessens the longer it goes, and you're just like, oh, there's zombies here. They're not a threat.
Ah, man.
There's a whole army of them. They're not a threat until when they are. It's like, oh, my favorite character died. Like insert like custom character 478. He was never in the original material, but everyone loved him. He was here for one scene.
The Walking Dead. So I'm actually gonna wax a little bit poetic about that show because that show started on Halloween 2010.
No way. Hold on.
Is it 2010, 2011? The Walking Dead. I still remember that pilot. I still remember when they were advertising it as Frank Darabont presents
Oh,
The Walking
I
Dead.
don't believe it. Oh, jeez. Oh, that was back when like they had season 1 as only 6 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember season 1 being that short.
I do. Because The Walking Dead was the last show that I ever tuned in to watch like that weekly. Well, actually, no. There was another show that I would watch weekly outside of fucking Walking Dead. But the reason why I bring up like Walking Dead was everybody who I know that watched that show, right? They all tuned out at some point along because we all got tired of following them along, fighting these basic like Mad Max Road Warrior style characters. We just tuned out. Like, I think that was a meme for a while. Like, we all have one thing in common. Yeah. When did you stop watching The Walking Dead?
Let me think. I know when I started to like. I know exactly when I tuned out. It was it? It was. I want to say it was season 4. After season 4, I tuned out. It was because it was before they started to go right back into the comic book material. Because I remember season 4 feeling like, okay, this was just a bunch of nothing.
So how much of the comic did you read?
So I have a funny relationship with the comics. I have never like sat down and read like all the volumes, like in proper sequence. But I know how a lot of the story beats go. And yes, I just spoiled myself on how a lot. I did read some chapters here and there, but like it was just more of like a dumpster dive of like, oh, let me just see how much of this I can like ingest and see what happens.
So I'll actually
Wait, why are you? Oh, I'm just shitting in the chat right now. Lady Lee's is offended, hopefully jokingly.
Let me see. Older single. My thing is like half cut off. Older single people are weird. No, where it's weird when this chick was 12. I think Millie Bobby Brown was like 12 or 13 or something when Drake was having her slide into his DMs. He was sliding into her DMs and he was like going back and forth chatting with Millie Bobby Brown. And to my understanding, it was like everybody goes, "What? Why are you chatting with Millie Bobby Brown when you're that old?" That was what we heard about it. He said he was guiding her. I don't know.
She's 19.
She was 19 then. She wasn't
Uh,
19 then. She was like at least 15 or
yeah, I
like
know.
13,
Yeah,
15 years old.
oh my goodness, I'm just like.
Well, moving away from Drake and his creepiness. I hate zombie movies. Well, okay. I love zombie movies. The one thing with this one though, with The Walking Dead, which is the subject, like we'll get off of in a few minutes because we could legit stay on The Walking Dead forever. That's like 8 podcast sessions in a row. The Walking Dead. But The
I
Walking
wouldn't say 8. I think
no,
we'll give up after 3 because
we would give up after 3 and there's still more to go. The Walking Dead is like the One Piece of zombie media.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Don't insult One Piece like that.
Okay, I'm going on about it as it is the song that never ends. The Walking Dead. Like, have you seen their
Continue.
tomes? Like the book tomes? Like those things are huge.
Yeah,
And there's
that's
like
why you think I went to straight into spoilers. And when I did at the time, it was in their final arc, and it was dragging at the time. Well, it was cool. It was cool.
like
Which is another board.
that's the thing. Like you get bored after a while. Like how much more can you find?
Although I was more entertained with the comic version of events than the TV show version of events.
Yeah, me too. Yes, and City Pop. I know who that is. And City Pop and Glowing Sparkling Skulls, if I'm not mistaken. But one other side of it, just to wrap up, reason why everybody gave up on that is that medium can't go too long. The zombie medium.
True.
I think that's why every time they're introduced into something, they fall flat when it goes for too long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can last on it for a little while, but you can't last for too long. But back to our Halloween specials.
Oh. Yeah. Funny thing about Goosebumps, to bring it back to that Halloween special. As you mentioned before, like how they kind of like they go in every room, they kind of like scrub it. They do a scrub over on certain things. It's come to my attention that apparently the UK got an extra episode because of, and I quote, due to moderate supernatural threat and heavy themes / depictions of animals being hunted and killed.
Is that the one with the talking dogs?
Well, the name of the release is called The Werewolf of Fever Swamp. If I'm not sure that rings any bells for you.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, looks like that was the only one that we didn't get stateside.
We got it, but we didn't get it on TV. But we got it.
We did?
Yes. That one you could only get one way. I'm right. You could only get it one way. You had to go and get it on VHS.
Oh, okay, I see it. And it was was it bundled with like 2 other episodes? Oh yeah.
No, they were douchebags. They used to just sell you the one episode on VHS, and then you got really mad at your parents and made you buy it. You made them buy it. but that's how they rolled.
That's disappointing.
Shaun of the Dead does count because Shaun of the Dead is a zombie movie made by fans of the genre.
I need to go see that because I haven't seen a lot of zombie media. Just kind of Walking Dead. I've seen Zombieland 1 and 2.
I mean, I can give you a list of good zombie movies to check out. And you can whittle that one down on your own. But it's not that. It's not. I like zombie movies. I watch, for a while there, I used to watch a lot of them. However, I don't like the fandom. The zombie fandom creeps me out. That's actually like the one fandom that I'm actually not too keen on hanging out with.
Mines would be vampires.
The vampire people ain't that bad. They're like emos on crack.
Look, being on crack does not produce that type of weird fetish of like biting people and sucking their essence for nourishment. That's you got to give the zombie people some credit. They go after your brains because they like book smart people.
No, you have the zombie people all the way wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you why I don't fucking follow. I don't hang out with zombie fans.
I'm gonna sit down for this.
They all think that they're gonna be Rick Grimes or Daryl Dixon.
Okay.
They are all of them. They used to do this at cons. I don't know if they still do. You go to a con, and they would sell you the zombie killing machete.
Zombie killing? Why did I just get a gun?
Which is a green, which was like this black blade, green metal machete with like the word zombie killer sprayed painted on it. It's a machete. Right? It's like a real machete. But you got it to kill zombies. I'm gonna keep moving. A lot of them go to these places, the shooting ranges, and they pay money for well, actually I'm gonna correct myself. Zombie accurate firing bullseyes, whatever they call that, right? Like the targets.
Oh yeah, those target sheets.
But no, not the sheets. They get the dummies, but they're molded to be like a real human, like a real zombie. But it's really a human mold.
Got it.
Yeah, it's like a body mold, but it's like a zombie.
Okay.
Oh, I know what you said. Hey, I was like, no, not all people do that. We know. Our mistake.
Alright. It's all good fun.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, though, like I heard stories about these cats with the zombies pulling weapons out on one another over arguments about survival.
Why would you get into an argument about survival? I mean, if it's like surviving in the wilderness versus surviving in a mall, like each has their pros and cons. It's just a matter of how long you can last.
It all goes back to it though. Like you and I, we could probably sit here and debate all this in good fun, right? But then let's say we get. I'm gonna come up with a nickname on the fly here, and I hope you understand. What?
Lenny.
No, not Lenny. Let's call them Goblin Bob.
Goblin Bob.
Let's say Goblin Bob gets it up their ass, right? That Goblin Bob, that he says the only way to fight it is to fortify the house and shit, right? And you and I, we can have a debate about this. It's all in good fun, right? But then you get Goblin Bob. Goblin Bob doesn't take no for an answer. Goblin Bob needs to be right. Goblin Bob is annoyed that you are challenging their bullshit authority, right? Goblin Bob pulls out a gun and is now going to tell you, because all these guys carry guns like this, They're going to tell you that they're a survivalist. They know what they're talking about. And now they're had a gun in your face over a fictitious scenario that to them is not fictitious.
You just described half of the villains in The
Every
Walking
fucking zombie movie. Yeah.
Dead. Yeah, that too. Come on. Because there's always at least one person that does this in the films. Like I like my way is the highway. You need to blah blah blah, and they end up getting killed.
No, but it's how it goes, right? Like they always get killed. They get a bunch of other people killed, and so all right. I'll put it like this to you: if I were to tell you to watch one zombie movie, just one, and anybody who might have tuned in from TikTok or anybody who might tune in hears later is going to be like, why would you give him that one? Because to me, it's actually the much better representation of how I think things would really be like. And it's also a much better depiction on class struggles, which zombies are supposed to represent. In a world where we are never at peace with each other due to class warfare. I will tell you, go watch Night of the Living Dead, the 1990s version. That's the one I would recommend you watch. I'm going to ask you a direct question. Do you have a VPN?
No, I do not.
All right. Then I'm going to have to send you a... I'll show you a way to watch the more complete version. It's not very nice. It's not very cool. Very gritty, very crappy looking. But there is an X-rated version.
Oh, I can just buy it like a good Samaritan or a good paying consumer.
You can buy it too. It's always out there on Prime.
Okay, that's fine.
There's two versions. There's the black and white 60s version, which I like, but it's very slow paced. I also kind of think that one is a lot more about the downturn. It's less exciting in my book. It is a classic. It's legendary. But to me, the 1990s version was a very smooth, clean upgrade. And for all you zombie fans out there, when you buy the 1990s version, you actually support George Romero and the team that made Night of the Living Dead. The black and white one was stolen from them and put into the public domain so that they didn't have to pay Image 10 or any of Romero's studios any money. So, when you support the 1990s version, although people say
Did you check chat?
the Stat Vampire or Twilight Vampire, very, very different people. Where did this come from?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused too.
I would rather the Lestat Vampire. That's a real vampire. That other thing is I don't know what those things are. They're not vampires. They shine and glow in the dark and they eat vegetables. They're not vampires.
What, they're used to satiate a certain niche market of the human populace.
Okay, all right. Okay, we're here. Thank you, lady. We're about to get there. Oh wait, I think it's because you mentioned earlier that you didn't like the vampire fandoms.
How long ago was that? Needless to say, we're here now.
Oh yeah, so she's over here. Yeah, she's catching up with us. So there's a legitimate survival zombie class that teach you how to survive the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, in reality, they're just regular outdoors woodsman classes that when I was a kid, growing up in a small town for a little while there, the more happier parts of my childhood, they would teach you that stuff. You know, like they would teach you how to hike, don't leave the trail, keep an eye out. Like I think we talked about this in one of our sessions, but just learn how to mind yourself in the wilderness and you'll be okay, right? There are certain things that everybody should know how to do for safety's sake. In my book, right, everybody should know how to handle a gun for safety's sake. Not fire one, not make it a fucking sport. But you know what? At least you know if you see a gun on the street, pick it up. You know to check. You know how to which buttons to push to open it up, pull the bullets out, and check the barrel. that kind of thing, right? Like all that stuff is like safety concerns, right? Because sometimes, especially like not here in New York, not anymore, but places out in the Midwest, you can find guns just lying on the road. Because sometimes like hunters go, "Oh, this gun is no good anymore. Just toss it."
That
And
seems like a waste.
well, because in their book, to toss it, to throw it away and get rid of it, you have to go through a whole bunch of process. If they're hunting and they go, "Oh shit, this thing, the trigger doesn't work on this anymore," they pull out maybe whatever bullets they had in it, and then they toss it on the ground. But maybe they were wrong, and then a kid will come pick it up and not check. So those are things that like I think everybody should know how to do a little bit. Check, know not to touch certain parts of it, and know how to hold it just in case to be safe, right? Control. Like driving a car. We all know how to drive cars. At least have the
Me.
gist of it, right? But anyways, with that one though, Night of the Living Dead, just to wrap up that tangent before we're out of here, where we kill this subject.
Before you dive into your worst nightmare.
Yeah, we'll dive into that. So, Night at 90, in my book, is a much more accurate depiction of how it would be like if the zombie apocalypse did happen. It's aged very well in my book. The film in itself was marred with a lot of production problems, but it's still a good one to watch. The actor is actually one of my all-time favorite horror actors, and you just got to play with him in your Spider-Man game.
Oh yes. Do we this is this the part where we insert the spoiler warning, or do we just say forget it?
Venom.
You can't answer my
No, the
question.
voice of Venom was Tony Todd.
Okay. Oh, so that's what I was looking at on TikTok. Okay. Well, not
Yeah,
TikTok, on Instagram.
yeah, the voice of Venom was Tony Todd.
I loved his performance in that game.
Yeah, and he was in. He's a horror legend.
And if best to get someone like that to voice Venom, because ooh, if you have Venom sounding any less than that, I will not be satisfied.
Oh, shit! Do you not know who that guy is?
I do not.
Okay, Tony Todd is a horror legend. Uh, so when people say that there's not much representation of black people in horror movies, go look at Tony Todd. Tony Todd is the shit. I love all of Tony Todd's things that he does. One of my favorite monologues in horror is between him, the guy who you saw this one the other day, uh, Halloween. Donald Pleasance is Dr. Loomis. There's no evil in his eyes. No, nothing there, just evil.
Yes,
Right?
the second antagonist of the movie.
But then you get Tony Todd, who does another kind of horror monologue. My favorite monologue of his is if you ever saw Final Destination 1.
Not I. No, I only seen like vague clips of it. I need to actually go see that, just to kind of just see what I'm getting myself into for that franchise.
Hold on a minute. Let me see. Go listen in on the channel. Just raise the volume for a few seconds. I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be quiet for 2 seconds so
Okay.
you can hear it. As long as I don't show it, I think we're fine. We'll hear it. We can hear it. Turn off the mic.
Yeah, I heard you.
Does that mean if you figure out?
Do you think you can get away with it? You have to figure. Plane. Your friend.
Start right at the right spot.
Artistic design leading to the grave.
Design. Does that mean if you figure out the design, you can cheat death?
Alex, you've already done that by walking off the plane. Your friend's departure shows that death has a new design for all of you. You have figure out how and when it's coming back at you. Play your hunch, Alex, if you think you can get away with it. But remember, the risk of cheating the plan, of disrespecting the design, could incite a fury that could terrorize even the Grim Reaper. And you don't even want to fuck with that, Mac Daddy.
All right. You hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
All right. So I kind of had to keep it short because, as we've discussed with some of our friends, you can't play too much clips. You can't screw around with clips like that or go through an entire segment. So I had to keep it short. But when you're watching the actual clip, the way that it plays out, this dude has command of the whole situation, his facial expressions. Fucking love that guy, Tony Todd. So if I'm gonna recommend one zombie movie to check out, it runs short. Night of the Living Dead. His performance as Ben, awesome performance, and you kind of, once you see it, you'll see what I'm talking about. The reason why I was suggesting the X-rated version is because Tom Savini unfortunately got censored like crazy with the effects, and I actually wanted to open up a second discussion. But in all fairness, thinking about it, it'll be better if you watch the theatrical version, and then if you think you can do it, I'll send you the X-rated version.
I mean, if the X-rated version is available for me to kind of just see on Amazon, then I'll just go straight for the X-rated version.
It's not.
All right. You know what? We'll worry about that after we're done with the podcast at another time. But for now, that and Final Destinations are on the list now.
I mean, I've done screenings on TikTok before of the X-rated version for some of my audience. For anybody who's coming in from TikTok, I've done it a few times in the past. I genuinely enjoy that one.
Oh, morally gray.
Here we go. What I assume was Tony Todd was hot until he said Mac Daddy, and that just killed it. You have to watch. You have to see the whole sequence. It's a good sequence. I just can't use it. That's Tony Todd. But no, he has another monologue too that I remember in high school. I actually memorized it once. You ever hear Candyman?
Oh, who could forget Candyman? Funny enough, I thought Candyman was related to the board game Candyland. Don't ask me why. I just assumed they were a part of the same thing. Nope, I was sorely wrong.
No, fucking one of his best things is from Candyman. So in high school, right, I did a theatrical play, right? Some folks who might be listening might be aware that I did a play in high school. One of the voices I would mimic to get the character down to the best I could was Candyman. Now, I could never match the gravelly tone in voice, right? But there is a sort of rhythm that he was speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Do it. It was like this one.
So I was obliged to come. Be my victim. Be my victim. I am the writing on the wall, the whisper in the classroom. Without these things, I am nothing. So now I must shed innocent blood.
There you go. Yeah, gotta keep it short.
Oh yeah, I remembered that. His voice vaguely now. I hear that being played.
And Candyland is terrifying, but not for the right reasons. Okay?
You're
I was a
joking, right?
very dark-minded person growing up, and when I was in Candyland, I thought there were those fucking things that were like gonna abduct you as a kid.
I was talking about the board game.
Yeah, I know. You ever seen what those characters look like in Candyland? They look like those dolls that have no life.
I don't remember, but I'm starting. I'm just gonna believe you because like I vaguely get like flashbacks of maybe what they look like. I'm like, you know what? We're not gonna dig too deep.
Go
I
look up
remember.
Candyland and the Great Lollipop Adventure.
Oh my goodness! Here
You
we
want
go.
horrifying? Candyland is a horrifying place. It's horrific. All the kids that go there die of diabetes and stuff.
Isn't that Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
No, that's another story.
Oh,
That Tim Burton.
because that one involves chocolate, and this one involves candy.
Candyland. Well, I mean, if you look at the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory story, he is wasting those kids as the time goes by.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
He's not
Like
he's not wasting them, intentionally, but he is wasting them. He's just not,
that's intentional. It's intentional. It's definitely intentional. He's committing filicide, and no one's doing anything to stop him.
okay. I am not pulling these out of smart books. Your smart books took my horror characters, okay?
Oh, I'm morally gray. What? That's where she what? Oh, that's hilarious. And this is why, ladies and gentlemen, and everything in between and beyond, you don't play things out of context or in context. Just at all. Just don't do it.
Yeah, I can continue with that monologue. It is awesome. He keeps saying, "Be my victim."
No, you're not helping your case if you do that.
No, I'm not. It was a funny one though. Shit. But he's like up there in one of my favorite. That guy, Tony Todd. That's why again I recommend that movie. That Night of the Living Dead iteration. That one needs to be checked out. If I were to recommend something more lighthearted, that's very full of shiny, glowy things, but it's not finished, and I think it went on hiatus, which I'm really mad about. ZOM 100.
You lost me.
ZOM 100. That's the name of the anime.
ZOM100.
Yep.
I vaguely remember the title. I never looked into it though.
So for anybody who likes like more so shiny, sort of like sparkly things, but this one to me is like, I'm really mad that it's not finished. It might not be finished because they're on hiatus. Apparently, like the company's feuding, or the studio employees are feuding with the studio management. It's one of those times where, like, what do you expect? You write an anime about a dude who's happy that the world is over so he doesn't have to go back to work. And then you treat the employees making said anime like shit. Yeah. What's going to happen? There's a reason why. We know.
I thought we was going to gloss over that, but you know what? We're here now.
We're here now. But no, like if there's one that I recommend for people, like that is a really good anime, and I actually would recommend anybody go check out the manga since it doesn't look like the anime is going to be finished. Do not watch the live action film. I'm going to say.
Speaking of live,
if I'm not mistaken, let me send that. I'll send her the recommendation later because she's the one who's like, I like shiny things. But no, that one was hilarious. But yes, so we've discussed zombies and smut.
Apparently,
looking over at a certain person commenting. Feel my eyes.
Twitch.
But in all fairness, you know what's another? You know who was in my book, the king of Halloween episodes when I was a kid? and you're gonna know this. You should know this because I meme this every time we play Dead by Daylight. Alright. I'm gonna give you 2 guesses.
It's not Boondocks.
No, I say this every time.
I see a lot of things every time we play that game.
Alright, but this is when everybody's on the hook.
Oh yes, yeah, your signature phrase for when you're running to be a hero, quote unquote. Hold on, kids, I'm coming to the rescue. From The Simpsons.
Yeah, find it.
Honestly, your voice. We need a voice clip of you saying that live in a game one of these days. That does it more justice than you playing the clip from The Simpsons, which were probably.
Hold on, kids. I'm coming to rescue the lot of you.
Yes, we need that voice clip, but done in the moment.
You know what? One of these days, we'll get it. But what I need is to get it and then actually have what happened to Willie happen to me. Because it also does happen, but I never catch it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, we play Dead by Daylight long enough. We're gonna. That should come easy.
Is find this one.
A lot of you! Coming to rescue! I'm coming to rescue a lot of you! Alright, Looney. Show me
we
what
talk
you
about the
got!
yin side of
Hold on, kids!
TV show
I'm
specials
coming to rescue a lot of you!
horror. Let's talk about the yang side. Your favorite side to talk about when it comes to criticism.
Which one?
Your
Halloween movies that we hate?
Halloween movies that we would love to bash and just drink to if you had to, in order to get through it. So let's talk about the Disney horror films, quote unquote.
So here's what pisses me off about Disney, right? On occasion, they will come out with some really good shit for Halloween, right? But then they won't follow up or capitalize on any of the good shit that they come out with. And then they'll come and give us Hocus Pocus and Hocus Pocus 2. So, example, right? When I was a kid, I didn't realize that one of my favorite Halloween cartoons came from Disney. It was one of the spooky dancing skeletons. You know, like the very popular shirt, Spooky Scary Skeletons, right? And there's like the skeleton dance. Yeah, that's from Disney. Yeah, that belongs to Disney. That's like Steamboat Willie. It's a Disney thing. Another pretty cool thing that I remember growing up that is from Disney. They also had one of these old, like, sort of horror movies, which I think, and I'm trying to find the name because it was, like, on my list to find this year. I couldn't find it, but I know it's on Disney Plus. I saw it once from the 70s. But it was, like, a very light in tone horror movie, but it was pretty good. It was a ghost movie. Then, for some reason, right, they start focusing on these Disney Channel movies, which I know a lot of people love. I've never liked the Disney Channel movies. They're not my vibe. Halloween Town, we get like 8 of these movies.
Oh,
right?
yes. I was just about to say Halloween Town.
Yeah, 8 of the Halloween Town movies. And then they don't ever do anything else like what they did with Recess. Well, like Recess had a Halloween special, which was pretty cool, right? It's about them getting older and they're trying to get Spinelli to love Halloween again because these jerks ruined it for her. And then like they kind of realize, right, that maybe although the decorations don't have the same effect on them anymore and they're getting older, they still recognize that the holiday is just fun and that they should enjoy themselves, right? Which is, again, where we go. Nightmare Before Christmas. Awesome movie, right? The effects are great. The Halloween Town effects are great. Love it. All the effects, especially when he lights himself on fire, cutting edge for the 90s. Awesome as shit. But, you know, we never got really any sequels or follow-up to that. which I feel we should have gotten. Matter of fact, they gave Tim Burton a hard time making that movie, so Danny Elfman pretty much took over directing duties and doing the voice of Jack Skellington. And so much so that WB had to kind of be the one to step in and do the unofficial sequel-esque movie to that one, which was Corpse Bride. Years later. Like, it's not, the Corpse Bride is not a sequel, but some people like to kind of think of them all like there's this package of films. It's like,
oh, so it ended up being like what we call in the gaming industry a spiritual successor.
yeah, it's like a spiritual successor. Like, Corpse Bride is in the same vein of animation as Nightmare Before Christmas is, and then years later, Disney goes like, well, fuck you, we're not letting you do the third one with them. They gave us Frankenweenie, which is a remake. A lot of people don't know that. And you have like these 3 to 4 movies, right? Because there's even another movie that Vincent Price, that Tim Burton did, which I like to watch on Halloween. It's a short 10-15 minute movie called Vincent, which is a really interesting film to watch. I love it. I like watching that one on the holidays, on Halloween time. But it goes back to, right, like, they get these cool things and then they don't do shit with it. They just kind of like, okay. And then they proceed to crank out like 18 fucking Christmas movies, and they completely just like ignore everything else. Last year, they did a really awesome project with the MCU that went ignored.
Yes, what was the name of that film? Oh yeah, not Frankenweenie.
No. Werewolf by Night.
Yes, that's it.
So, here's what pisses me off, right? Werewolf by Night was an awesome concept. I enjoyed it. I actually sat there. I watched it from beginning to end. Gael Garcia Bernal, he plays the werewolf. That dude's my boo. I love that guy. I've seen a lot of his films, almost most of them, back when he was an indie actor. He was in Coco. He did the voice of Uncle Hector in Coco. Gael Garcia Bernal. Awesome character. Awesome actor. He's the werewolf. You get a really awesome, like, leading lady in this one also, with at least the Bloodstone. I'm trying to remember her first name right now. I can't remember her first name off the top of my head. For the Bloodstone. And they're hunting the Bloodstone, right? For the Bloodstone. And you get to meet Swamp Thing. I mean, Man Thing, not Swamp Thing. They're both property. Yeah, but they're both like made to counter one another, right?
Mm.
You get to meet Man Thing. So as like you get these 3 really cool things, and we officially go into one of my favorite parts of the Marvel Comics universe. We get to go into the monsters world, right? Where Dracula exists, where you get to see like these other underground sort of like Morlock-esque monsters that are pretty fun to deal with. And I was hoping that this year we would get a follow-up to Werewolf by Night, because it was such an interesting film. We didn't do that. We didn't get that. I know there's a Screen Actors Guild strike, right? But that movie was 40 minutes. I feel that they could have filmed it well beforehand, right? But we didn't get any of that. What they did instead was they dropped it again, but this time in color, ruining the original effect of the first one. Just dropped it in color. That was it. I'm sitting there going, first off, you guys barely advertised that movie. It was only a 40-minute long feature. Like, right? That wasn't even that long. It was like 40, 45 minutes, right? Werewolf by Night?
Yeah.
It feels like you guys just marched it out there to die, when it was actually something in my book that had potential. Because even if we don't follow him around anymore, right? The werewolf and Man Thing, I wanted to follow the Bloodstone around. She's like Buffy, that girl. Like, she's actually a pretty interesting character to follow around. She's a monster hunter. Elsa Bloodstone? She's a monster hunter, but like, okay, fine. I know there's a strike. I know there's all these things are going on. But come on. It would have been so much fun to like at least give me an animated project. Where's the Bloodstone? Is Elsa hunting monsters? You know, like, is Elsa hunting monsters and maybe she's coming across Blade? You know, I mean, in all fairness,
that
right?
just sounds wild.
Well, shit. Tell me that doesn't make sense. They're in the same world, no? She's in the same division as Blade is.
Well, I think the same reason it got tied with why the Blade movie, the Marvel Blade movie, got canceled. Well, that had a different reason, but like it's like, oh, that got tied and got canceled. We're just gonna nix this too, even though this is animated and it has nothing to do with the other. But we're gonna just nix it all together anyway.
Well, yeah, Werewolf by Night wasn't animated, but like you could have made it at least a follow up, man. Give me a follow up in animated form. Like, Elsa Bloodstone is one of those characters, right, that is really cool. Elsa Bloodstone is basically like Van Helsing. She can hunt monsters. She knows how to like track them all and stuff. She carries like pretty interesting powers around. She has that Bloodstone with her. There was a lot of cool stuff that I feel they could have done. And we're ignoring all of that because reasons. And instead, they're going to go bring back the old Avengers and do something with it. Do something with that. Even though, like, this was, in my book, a perfect character to lead us into a new section that we haven't explored yet, that they've been dragging their feet on. For some reason, like, even Mashallah Ali quit because he waited for a script. They didn't make one. Never gave him one. Instead of doing all of this shit that they're doing now, for Halloween, it's Halloween. Give me Elsa Bloodstone. Right? But they didn't do that. They just sat there and said, no, we're not going to do that. Here's what we're going to do, actually. We're going to give you the movie, but we're just going to give it to you in color now. All right. They just took out a little bit more of the blood. Called it a day. That's all they did. And all right, I mean, we couldn't get something about her dad. Her dad was interesting too, Ulysses.
Oh, okay.
Her dad was Ulysses Bloodstone. He has the stone on his. He wears a stone like a necklace. And you know, just so we're aware, like, horror and comics have always been a thing. The Bloodstone has been the basis of another vampire story in Full Moon Studios for a long time. So the term the movie Blood Species. That's another subject I'll actually talk about here one day. 80s movies that were almost comic book movies and definitely stole from comic books. But for anybody interested, I will post one real quick thing. Full Moon, Bloodstone, Full Moon.
All I has to say is that funny enough, it's not that you don't like a lot of the properties that Disney had. You just don't like what they do with it.
Yeah, like, in all seriousness, right? I don't know if you got a chance to see Werewolf by Night.
No.
It's 40 minutes. I would suggest, like, on your break or something, just double check the time, and if it's if you got like 40 minutes while you're having your lunch, give it a go. But remember, I'm the guy in our friend group who stopped watching these things first.
Oh yeah, I know. I think I have it marked down on my calendar the day and time that happened too. I think it was like a half moon when that happened.
Yeah, it was a half moon because our certain friend didn't want to let us go.
Needless to say,
They were not okay.
needless to say, that aside, um, yeah, it's funny how you compare the handling of like horror properties across both Nickelodeon and Disney. It's
For anyone looking on the
Nickelodeon
screen, that's the plus.
told the line. They told the line.
Nickelodeon?
Meanwhile, yeah, they told the line.
Oh yeah, they definitely told the line Nickelodeon though. But that's why in my book they had the better ones, and they actually knew when to pull them out. Another one that had really good Halloween specials over on Nickelodeon. Hey Arnold.
Uh, well, actually, should we just go like across like that Cartoon Network and Disney, like their animated shows? What they like, I think it was guaranteed to, if it was a popular animated show, it was guaranteed to have a Halloween special or
Yeah.
just like, some type of like holiday specials. Like there's always a obligatory Christmas specials in most cases, and then you have maybe 1 to 2 Halloween specials for their money makers.
All right, so I'll tell you who had the best Halloween animated TV special in my book, but it didn't happen when we were kids.
Oh, okay.
Gravity Falls Summerween.
Gravity.
Gravity Falls Summerween. Gravity Falls is my favorite
Oh,
latest
that.
Disney animated show. It only lasted 2 seasons, so for anybody out there who's ever interested in watching it, go check it out. Awesome show. One day I hope to be like Uncle Stan. Great show. He actually looks up at a gnome. He's like, shh. He's like, when we're out of food, we're going to eat the gnomes. Hey, I didn't agree to that. Shh. Stress will just make you chewy. Stress will just make you chewy. Awesome. They throw down with unicorns in one episode. But my favorite thing with them was, hey, I didn't agree to that. Shh. Me. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, I was the first one to stop watching. No, they're like, yeah. So we're actually getting somebody commenting right now. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark was awesome, and it was pretty scary. Like their Halloween episodes were good. The thing with them was they had so many that I'm trying to remember what a specific one. In the chat, if you could please do us a solid, let us know what was one of the legit, like what was one of their Halloween specials. Because when I see the names, I remember because I've binge watched that show a whole bunch of times, but I could never keep the names on my head for the episodes for that one. They always begin with the tale of the insert this.
Oh yeah, the group the group of characters they were the fictional group they would play a part of, the Midnight
The
Society.
Midnight Society. Yep.
Oh goodness!
Hey man.
I mean, it killed for the time to have a name like that. And
You know,
I didn't know
sucks.
they came back in 2019.
You know what sucks? I didn't know they came back in 2019 because I was about to steal that name for our podcast.
Oh, depressed.
But then they came back like, ah!
Can we like negotiate a deal? Because like, hold on, are they doing anything with it? Because it says they say 2019 revival, and then I see this thing is like 2021, 2022. What happened to 2020?
It's fine. We are the Ghastly Hallows, all right? We're coming out of the Ghastly Hallows, and that's how it's going to be like until I can steal something better.
Yeah, I love our name. I'm not knocking our name. That being said, I want to use the Midnight Society in some shape or form. I want it. That name sounds so good.
Prank the Neighborhood Witch. That sounds like the monkey's paw. Yeah, I tried to steal that one. But it was gone. And then I think somebody else registered themselves as the Midnight Crew or the Midnight Society on TikTok. Rah!
That doesn't sound as cool as the Midnight Society. Oh, okay. Morley Gray wrote back her pick.
Halloween. Which?
Oh, that's what you were referring to when you said the monkey's paw?
Yeah, it sounds like the monkey's paw.
I mean, it would make sense if it would be like that.
I think it is. Yeah, the monkey's paw. The tail of the monkey's paw. The twisted. Yep, the twisted claw. They prank her the night before.
Oh, great. The kid accidentally kills his parents. Oh, boy.
No, that was again, man. Like, as someone that grew up around a lot of horror, Nickelodeon used to knock it out of the park for me. And I've been saying it over all night, but it's like, you know who else had a shockingly good special over on Nickelodeon? I mentioned Hey Arnold, they're gonna come next, but the one before that one too. Yeah, okay. The one that came before that one too was Rocco.
Fortunately, never saw Rocco.
Well, Rocco had a really good one, and you can actually find that one, I think, on YouTube on occasion. The Rocco Halloween special. It's really short, but that one was awesome. And Hey Arnold, one of my favorite ones was where they go looking for this haunted, abandoned train. They go look for a train with a haunted ghost, like a haunted ghost conductor or something. That one was a pretty good episode. Like I remember, like Nickelodeon had Halloween when I was a kid. I do like that now Disney's throwing their hat in there, but it's like, come on, man, give me more. You guys have a lot of good stuff you're sitting on. I would like to see some more things come out of, like, even for The Simpsons this year. Last year was so cool what they did with The Simpsons. They did It with The Simpsons.
No way.
They did like a whole episode devoted to It. The clown, like, hi kids. Yes, the train to hell. That was an awesome episode for Hey Arnold. And then they did that one for It last year where Krusty was It. It was a pretty, like, I was telling one of my friends when he was here, I was like, I would love it if every year they would do that again, like Treehouse of Horror presents, and just do a different movie. Treehouse of Horror presents Bart Simpson's Halloween or something like that. That would have been so cool. Imagine Principal Skinner being frustrated that he can't reach Bart. Because that is the law. They'll lock him away. They should execute him. They're talking about him like he's not a person. Yes, because he's not. It's evil. He's the Shape. Oh, now you know why they call him the Shape, too.
I'm still not a fan of that name in Dead by Daylight for him.
But that's his name. That's what they refer to him in Michael Myers. But that's what they refer to him, though. They just refer to him as the Shape. If you actually go look it up, he's credited a few times as the Shape.
I'm gonna call it by his government name because he was born in this world the normal way. I don't care if he exits out the extra normal way.
Like if you go on Google and you punch in the Shape.
Oh no.
That's it.
I will get the Shape of Water as my first result and nothing else.
You just hit the Shape.
No.
You hit enter in Google on the Shape.
I want to get the movie Shape of Water.
Gonna put it up on the screen right now. There it is. The
You
Shape.
need to do it.
What happens when you Google the Shape? If anybody watching along right now, you Google the Shape, and there it is. Michael Myers is referred to as the Shape.
It says multiple matches. It's okay. You know.
I already put it up for display on our stream.
Use Bing.
You can't.
Use Bing eyesight.
Can't deny it.
Look, he has a government name. I'm gonna call him by his government name. I refuse to call him by that stupid name. Funny enough, I played against one last night on Dead by Daylight, and yeah, it was not pleasant.
You sure it
I ended
wasn't
up
me?
dying. I'm pretty sure it wasn't you.
Last night it was like, oh no, wait. Last night was Day of the Dead. On Halloween night I played. I had a really rotten night. A lot of people escaped on the shape. The night before, I was killing people left and right. It was hilarious. Poor old our buddy was listening to me yell, shout like Otis from Otis Driftwood from Night of House of Thousand Corpses. You want to see what happens to a fucking hero? What happens when you're a hero? I'll show you, badass. That was amazing. He's like, hey, you all right? I'm like, no, I had a hero trying to rush and save people out of the gate. I'll show you, badass. That was a fun night. But all right, enough of Dead by Daylight. I've already thrown like 4 specials out here today. You've only given me goosebumps.
Wait, I was the one that gave you Are You Afraid of the Dark?
I started with Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Because
I had cable.
so was the mod. What?
I had cable as a child.
Oh, I gave out actually no, you co-opted the Halloween Town, so I can't even use that one.
Well, did you enjoy Halloween Town as a child?
As a child, yes.
All right, go for it. What did you like about it?
The actress.
God damn it.
What? It wasn't scary. Like, you expect me to sit here and lie to your face saying, as a child, I liked the story of the Halloween Town series?
Who was
No.
the actress for Halloween Town? I'd be
Well,
lying if I said.
And then they swapped her out in the final one. I'm just like, oh, she's in college, so I guess they have to get a different actress.
Is it Kimberly J. Brown?
No.
Who was it?
Hold on. Shoot, I just had it up on screen before.
Was it Debbie Reynolds? Oh, hell no. Not Debbie Reynolds.
Okay, so the original actress from like the first 3 movies was Kimberly J. Brown.
Yes, I was right. It's Kimberly J.
Yeah.
Brown. All right, let me see what you look like in the first Halloween Town film. I'm just.
Go with the third one. All
right, Halloween Town 3.
Need to say it was just, I don't know, the plucky attitude. It was sold it on me back then. You know, it's very, very the opposite of what you want in a horror themed TV film.
Oh, fairness, I think she would have been great in a legitimate horror movie. You kind of root for people like this to make it out alive.
Yeah, the plucky protagonist that took care of her family.
Yeah, you kind of root for characters like her. All right, I'll give that one a pass, but if I said I'm going to go watch this movie, I'm lying. I'm lying right through my teeth. My nose would grow so big, my screen would fucking break right now. It's just out of the dead.
They replayed those special. They replayed the series of films so much around Halloween. It was just like they had the. Of course, when they got to the 4th movie, they started replaying the first 3 so much. The 4th one did not get much coverage. It was fine because it was the worst out of the 4.
And someone just chimed in with Psych Halloween specials. Tuesday the 17th. Oh, that's right. Netflix decided to do its thing out here with us. We got to figure life out with that.
What?
So if you have Netflix on a smart TV, take it off.
Why?
Because that's how they're hitting everybody with the regional locks. So let's say you move out and you just want to keep your Netflix account and you share it with your family.
Yeah.
If you have it on a smart TV, that's where they're hitting everybody. So they finally got around to hitting our family because somebody had it on a smart TV. And yeah. My brother's like out of town. We were all sharing the account, so now we have to turn around and figure life out, and it doesn't help that Netflix has gotten to like almost 20 something bucks.
Ugh, it's disgusting. I have to go test that because I'm not sure if my parents' TV counts as a smart TV or not. But you know what? That's a problem for another day.
Yeah, like I have to, like one of these days, I have to sign up and get my own account and figure life out with everybody else. Let me see real quick right now.
In plain fright. I'm not sure about if it's just me, but don't you find the names of like a majority of like horror TV specials to have corny names?
But that's the fun of it, though, man.
Just what you can admit is it's corny, or actually no, I wouldn't say corny, cheesy.
Shit, $15 for standard Netflix. Fuck you.
We're in the dark timeline, as I like to put it.
Dude, I remember when this shit was like $10.
You mean 7, right? That's when I remember.
Well, 7 when it was DVDs, 10 when it was like starting with just streaming, and now it's like $15 for the standard, $22.99 for the fucking premium plan. Oh, you know what?
We need more money.
I have the perfect thing to quote this. A minute. So, you know, Netflix is expensive for all of us now. Here's my response to that.
Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you!
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh!
For anybody who was hearing on the chat, they might be aware of what I was referencing right now. Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain. $15.50. You're crazy.
I hope you cut that.
No, I wasn't. I was just looking to see what it'd be like if I signed up before it. Yeah, $15.
No, I meant the audio of SpongeBob.
Oh hell no! I'm being straight out about. I didn't say I was doing it. I'm just saying I don't blame it now. But no, ooh, the point of Psych, Plain Fright, tons of 80 movies references. Well, I know, but that's the fun thing in general about Halloween references. It's Halloween episodes. It's like when they do that cheesiness, there's a nice sort of like awesome fun tinge to it when they add humor. Like if you ever go watch the Treehouse of Horror movies, all of the names of the producers are parody names. Like the guy Matt Groening calls himself Matt Groening. Simon or something like that.
I know that name, like that first one you just listed. No, that's no. That's
no, but
good.
you have to actually go watch them. Like some of them just put weird names on it for the fun of it. My favorite all-time horror host when I was a kid, and I was actually surprised that a lot of people don't know who this character is. The Crypt Keeper.
You did mention that one to me at one point.
If anybody knows who the Crypt Keeper is, he used to be the puppet that would host everybody for Tales from the Crypt. That was like Tales. That was like your main thing on a '90s night.
Ah, for the corpse.
You would get like the Crypt Keeper coming out, and he would talk in like these weird, really like weird abridged ways. It was one of my favorite ones. He'd be like, "And now presenting a fright-filled, a weird Whoopi Goldberg," or something like that. It was fucking weird shit. And then Whoopi Goldberg actually came out in one episode, and she's like, "It's a ward." Or the other funny one was Arnold Schwarzenegger came out. He did a cameo too. He's like, "Do you want to look like this for the rest of your death?"
The rest of your death. Oh man!
But like that was another awesome one. like that's how they are though. Like that's part of horror culture. You get these like really interesting sort of puns. Horror writers were the original dad jokes. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, but instead of being appropriate, actually, it's. I mean, you take the concept of death and you kind of make it sound light, but it's still death. Like that's a plague coming your way. Just because you got a little chuckle at it doesn't mean it's not going to give you influenza or pneumonia any less quickly.
What plague are you talking about? Giving people influenza?
Yeah, I don't know. The one of Dracula's many plagues. I'm
Dracula
sure.
has what? Dracula's plague. Dracula
Okay, Mara.
bites people.
Oh, he has also a strange of other powers. He
doesn't
Right?
have pestilence in his powers.
doesn't.
No.
Where did you get that one from then?
I don't know where the hell. That's what I'm asking. Where the hell did you get that one from? Dracula does not have the ability to give people colds, cancers, or anything like that. He just drains their blood and hypnotizes them.
Also, the ability to transfer. Well, you can summon familiars too. That one's true.
Yes, he can summon familiars, but he doesn't. Okay, we're back to where we were before. But that is the joy of Halloween specials, man. Like, you get to do stuff like that. Another pretty good one that's in modern time that does pretty fun specials is Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
They're actually fun. I like their Halloween specials. They actually capture what it was like going trick-or-treating as a kid.
What, the fear of razor blades showing up in your apples?
No, when you would encounter these people that were douchey on Halloween. Like, it's awesome how they actually capture that energy on Bob's Burgers. Like, you run into these people in that show that were just douchebags. And they're like the worst Halloween people on the planet. These people. Like, there's one episode where the lady actually reaches into the little girl's bucket and takes the candy back. And I'm like, oh, hell no. You did not do that. You do not take candy from someone.
What? That
It's
is.
you can say, like, oh, I ran out. You know what? Give the kid another bar. Shut the hell up. But you do not reach back into the bucket and take the candy out. Like, that is not cool. You're asking for it when you do that.
That is just evil a little bit.
But no. Actually, I think I have one more thing before we can close ourselves out here for Halloween. Do you have any actual stories of, like, your Halloween growing up? Like, any weird shit that happened when you were a kid growing up on Halloween?
I mean, the only weird things that happened were like gang initiations
Yeah, well,
and.
welcome to the dark side of living in New York.
I thought that was normal. The way my mom
Yeah.
made it seem it was.
Well, out
And-
here for us, yeah, it's pretty normal.
All right, let me pick a different example. Kids ringing our doorbell to the point where they busted our doorbell. Well, even though we had a sign out that says "No candy here," or something along that lines.
Well, when you do something like that, like there's actually like rules with Halloween that I've always told people. Like, there's things that you know are gonna get you in trouble if you're a homeowner, right? It's like number one thing that I always tell people: don't decorate if you're not gonna give out candy.
Oh, we never decorated.
That's like number one. So as a trick-or-treater, right, like if you don't decorate, then people should know not to go around knocking on your door. That
Yeah,
There's actually,
they
like,
didn't
rules
get
with
that
Halloween.
memo.
But that's the problem, right? Like, that's on them now if they didn't do that. Like, when you don't decorate, you don't go knocking on the door. Those are like the rules that we always followed. Like, don't knock on the door, don't follow or bother anybody unless don't bother anybody unless you see that they at least have a bucket or a sign or something. If the lights are off, that's it. Lights out. It's over. Don't bother the house anymore. But at least they busted your doorbell. That must have sucked.
Yeah.
Mr. Bolt must have had to pay a pretty penny to fix that doorbell.
You assume that he fixed it.
He fixed it, yeah, but he still has to go out and buy the shit to fix it, no? Or he has to like open it up and get that wiring back on.
Well, when I say busted, they like pushed it so much that the button kind of like got wedged in. I mean, we were able to wedge it out, but it's like it never really, of course, it didn't work the same,
Yeah,
if at all.
it sucks.
Yeah. I mean, he did, he's a handy person, so. But like, I don't ever recall any. That was like the last time I ever recall anyone using the front doorbell successfully. Oh man, people just knock or just stand outside without even bothering ringing the doorbell, and they either stay or they leave. It's just so funny. It was like we never told the world universally like, oh yeah, our doorbell doesn't work because idiots, idiot kids, children, teenagers, every age in between messed up our doorbell one year. No, people just like, you know what? We're just gonna stand out here awkwardly and either continue to stand in here or we're gonna leave.
I mean,
I don't think anything happened this year, which was great.
nah, that's a good thing. The
Oh, yeah.
weirdest thing I saw on Halloween one year was it was before we went out trick-or-treating. It was at school. I went home one day. I was walking home after school one day. It's one of the rare occasions where Mom let me go to school on Halloween. She didn't like it. For the same reason you just said, it's initiation time. So they don't let you go too far that night.
I understand it.
But I remember it was like one of those years I randomly went to school. And when I was coming home, I actually saw on the way home, this was in high school, there was a grocery store that used to sell basically a mini supermarket. I saw the store owner not selling teenagers eggs.
That is smart.
I actually saw the store owner, like he was, the clerk was there, and the clerk just looks at them. I remember as I was buying soda, so I see from outside, I look inside the store, and like the clerk is just standing there, and the kids are like with the eggs, and he's just shaking his head, no. And I look over, and the kids had like a stack of eggs in front of them. I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's sketchy. Yeah, that's sketchy. No,
You guys couldn't be any more obvious what you're gonna go do with these eggs, morons. That you don't buy them all in one shot. You got to go to different locations and buy everything in different places. You don't just do one-stop shop at that place. But
oh man, we here at the Ghastly Hollow podcast do not promote delinquent behavior.
we don't promote delinquent behavior unless you do the following. If the person does the following things to you, we promote delinquent behavior. For example, number 1. If they give you pennies on Halloween, they have it coming.
Whoa. You're at least getting money.
If they give you a penny on Halloween, you have it coming. Nobody wants pennies on Halloween.
Oh wait, would you rather get a penny or would you rather get fruit?
If you get fruit, you have it coming. If you get fruit, you have it coming. Hold on, I need this specific type of music to play in the background of this. As I list the following things that will get you, that we support vandalism for here on the Ghastly Hallows. So, the following things I support vandalism for. When they give you... First thing is, when they give you pennies on Halloween, you have all the right to go light dog shit on their porch. The penny pays for the paper bag.
No! That's the worst!
When they give you fruit, you turn around, you walk 10 feet, and you hurl the fruit back at their window. It pays for itself. When they give you good and plenties, nobody ever ate that shit. Nobody. Alright? I got into an argument with somebody this year about candy corn. I would rather eat candy corn, before eating good and plenty. Good and plenty suck. You give me good and plenties, you turn around and you throw that in their drains. Trust me, it'll do more damage. The last one, the number one thing that they deserve all kinds of vandalism for is when they decorate the house and then get upset that you rang on the doorbell. Why did you decorate if you don't have any candy? You're asking for it.
Oh my god.
You heard that one. My philosophy. There we go.
Okay, so do you, in that same vein, do you support when people use toilet paper for vandalism then? Because it's either eggs or toilet paper.
So it's all about the extent that you got pissed off at. So, like, I knew a dude who used to TP houses on Halloween, and this dude says that he would only do that if the person really pissed him off. Like, it had to be something that they did that was just not cool, right? And it's like deeper than just Halloween. Like, this person has had a history. It's like the purge night, right? On some places, you wait all year round to get even with this person on Halloween. I've heard people that treat it like purge night. They wait all year round.
That is mental.
So, like, there was one dude I know who had a neighbor that always parked right in front of his driveway. Like, he would always block the driveway annoyingly and would get really mad when they told him to move the car. So one Halloween, he was a teenager still. This happened like somewhere in Long Island by like Great Neck. This guy's telling a story in college. The guy had a Lexus, like a vintage Lexus.
Oh no. I can see.
Him and his friends egged the Lexus, and like they went around the block. They kind of went around the block, you know, doing their regular mischief, smashing pumpkins or whatever, you know, snap, crapple, pop, crap, morons do. And when he came back, he saw that he still had like 3 leftover toilet papers. This is Scott toilet paper. Like, you back in the day, you used to pay like $10 to get 1,000 rolls, right?
Yeah.
So he threw. Like, oh, it's that same guy's Lexus. He still hasn't cleaned off the eggs. Like, sweet. And then they threw the paper, the toilet. They TP'd his car that had eggs underneath it already. That had eggs on it already. And it rained that Halloween, so like that guy had a really bad day.
Oh no! I was gonna say, like, wait, they gave him tools to wipe off the egg with.
No,
that wasn't that. But then you just mentioned rain. I'm like, oh yeah.
No, and on top of that, that's not how it goes. When you throw the toilet paper, right, the eggs absorb it, but when the eggs dry up, that shit crusts over, and you're screwed.
Oh, that's foul.
And it happened. He's like, oh, well, he's like, he didn't know it was me, but I got my personal satisfaction.
Oh my goodness. Oh wait, Morally Gray mentioned in chat that she knew a dude that would. Like, I'm not sure if she's still taping.
You a dude that would what? Or unless, you know, it's illegal, and thus, you know, just let us know later. But this dude, like, he said, like, there was people that used to do that when I was a kid. Like, they would treat it like purge night. Be like, all right. Another guy I remember when I was in junior high, I used to walk home. He was on my walk home route. He went to the other junior high on the other way from my school, from my house. So we didn't go to the same one. He went to the other one. So this guy, I remember, he's like, so I know where the dean lives. I'm like, what? He's like, I know where the dean lives, and the dean likes to always put me on lunch detention so I don't see my friends.
Oh, no.
So he's like, I'm going to get even with this bitch. I'm like, under the cover of night. After everyone's done trick-or-treating, I'm going to get even with this bitch. I never saw that kid again. I don't know if he got even with her or not.
Oh, that's very troubling.
Oh wait, there's like a whole bunch of chats for her that are just coming through right now. What the hell?
Really?
Yeah, she listed like a whole bunch of in plain fright and
I mean,
Sean.
I've seen those
I
already.
couldn't see those until now.
Weird.
I actually am gonna put Psych on my list next year for Halloween.
Oh yeah, I just swapped it to all live chat all, and now I saw the next thing that happened after I knew a dude who would.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. That's where it stopped. I don't know if maybe
Would buy a ton of crickets. Oh yeah, she's still going.
Wait. I knew a dude who would, and then it stopped there. He
Yeah,
also
you
played
swap
the long-
over from top chat to live chat, and then she would go on to say who would buy a ton of crickets and release them on the lawns of assholes on Halloween. And then he also played the long game and threw mint seeds on lawns. Mint out competes other plants and literally takes over your. Oh my!
See, now that's petty as shit.
That is you're adding next level biology science into this. That's just evil.
However, it's evil. However, if it were me, I don't know that many good science nerds. I would know who the fuck did that one. Wait a minute. Which one of these kids knows how to garden?
Who paid attention in biology?
Who paid attention in biology? Is that fucking kid? The kid who paid attention in biology. They did it. I know they did it.
The one kid who actually aced the exam out of everyone.
But the worst part about it is how do you get that kid back? You don't. He killed your lawn. And mint does outcompete everything because my mom had a garden and she planted mint seeds. Mint seeds and oregano go back and forth until they breed this weird fuzzy mint hybrid. But you don't know if it's mint or not. It's like spearmint looking type thing. That was
sounds like a lab mistake on.
It was.
But man, yeah, no, you would have to leave the state. Like, I'm sorry, if a kid did you that dirty, and you have no way of getting them back legally, I just specify legally, like you have to kill the kid, which no, you can't do that. You just can't, or you leave the state.
I'm imagining Hank Hill. You know how Hank Hill loves his lawn. He cried in that one episode where his lawn was dying. He was crying because his lawn was dying. I'm just imagining some punk kid throwing mint on his lawn. Boo!
That was ridiculous, but man, you mess with the person's lawn, man, woman, I don't care. You mess with a homeowner's lawn, you committed a very vile act.
That's what happens in King of the Hill. He plays a vile act. Like, well, you go with a man's lawn. When you mess with a man's lawn, you've gone too far.
It's true.
Oh
it's
my God.
true. Like, you don't mess with the lawn. You don't mess with a person's garden, unless you're ready to suffer the consequences. But like, the gardens, like you went into their backyard, because like most gardens are not in the front anymore for good reason.
No, that's more intimate to go mess with the garden. But when you fuck with someone's lawn, yeah, that's some shit.
Yeah, because a garden could be either public or intimate. The lawn is just there for the world to see. There's no privating a lawn. You can't divert people's eyes away from a lawn unless you burn it to the ground. There's no glass.
I'm sorry, but that is too awesome. I'm going to teach that one.
Oh my God, no.
Hey, neighbor, it's all right. Don't throw eggs. It's too obvious. Everybody's looking at you if you buy eggs.
No one will suspect you buying mint seeds.
No one's going to suspect you buying mint seeds. Game on, motherfucker. Game on.
Sadistic. All right, on that horrible note of vandalism at its finest. We're gonna call it here for the night, folks.
Yes, give me 1 second here.
Oh, thank you, Morley Gray, for that riveting tale of debauchery. Just savage debauchery.
It's savage, but you know what? Like I said, there's only certain times I promote vandalism, and those are the small times. We'll get this going. Alright, so playing us out. Thank you for everybody who joined in on our post-Halloween special for today. We talked about our specials and all that good stuff. As usual, we just go off the cuff over here. Today I was joined by
Bolt from the Ghastly Hallows. Oh, Ghastly Hallows, sorry.
Definitely, it's all good shit.
I can't use the first one I just said. That's copyrighted.
It can. What's she gonna do? Come down here and attack me? I streamed her game a couple of months ago, so where are you? And you were there raging as I did it. But no,
I will do it again. I'll do it again. You hurt me when you were playing that last fight. Oh my lord.
You and dear H. Sinner were both angry watching you play that game. Well, goodness. Thanks everybody who chimed in, everyone who gave us interesting subjects and feedback. Please like, subscribe, share, let people know. I finally posted it up on TikTok today, what we're up to with the Ghastly Hallows. I can't stream over there just yet, so give me a But until then, we hope to see you guys again next week. It was fun chatting with you.
Likewise. Also, remember to comment on the video below once it's up after the live stream cut. And yeah, until next time, people.